Hi, thank you for tuning in to Tuesday Talks. My name is Michelle Jewsbury. Today's topic is going to be concerning what is domestic violence. Many people have come to me asking if sexual violence, if emotional abuse and financial abuse are all encompassed within domestic violence. We'll answer that in just a few minutes. I was in an abusive relationship for 4 years. I endured physical violence, sexual violence, financial abuse, and emotional torment. I stayed in that relationship thinking he would change, thinking that I could help him change, thinking that I loved him, thinking that he was my knight in shining armor and my Prince Charming. I endured multiple beatings, 2 of which should have killed me. I endured pain beyond belief, stress, agony, hurt, hardship, and utter unbelievability. I really didn't believe that I was being abused. I didn't think that he would hurt me again when he promised he wouldn't. When the apology phase came, he would cry and tell me how much he loved me and how he would never do it again, and I believed him. And I finally left that relationship, and because of that experience in my life, I now do these talks called Tuesday Talks and started a nonprofit organization called Unsilenced Voices, where we have a team of people working to help survivors and victims of domestic violence worldwide. What domestic violence is, it's the systematic persecution of one partner by another. And what that means is that that person will say things or do things to hurt the other person. According to the Arizona Coalition to End Sexual and Domestic domestic violence is not physical violence alone. Domestic violence is any behavior, the purpose of which is to gain power and control over a spouse, partner, girlfriend, boyfriend, or intimate family member. Abuse is a learned behavior, they say. It is not caused by anger, mental problems, drugs, or alcohol, or other common excuses. Domestic violence is all-encompassing. Domestic violence covers a wide array of things, including physical violence and emotional abuse, financial abuse. I am currently working with a woman where she's involved in a domestic violence relationship, and she questioned what domestic violence was. She had asked me on the phone, is domestic violence me pushing him or shoving him or slapping him? And I said, yes, it is. But that also does not give him right to abuse you. So it's a vicious cycle. The first time that there was physical violence in my relationship, I actually slapped my ex. His name is Paul. And I slapped him in the face because he had called me a slut. That first physical violence in our relationship was a catapult for him to abuse me for 3 years after that, physically, sexually, financially, and emotionally. And he would bring that up all the time. Well, you're the one who started it. You're the one who hit me first. Just because I slapped him doesn't give him right to strangle me, punch me in the face, put my head through drywall. It was my fault for slapping him, and I shouldn't have done that. But that is domestic violence as well. So when she asked me if pushing her boyfriend or slapping her boyfriend is domestic violence, it is. So I told her, she needs to leave that relationship because he's now using that as grounds for punching her. It's hard to leave a relationship, a domestic violence relationship, because there is the cycle of abuse, because there's the walking on eggshells, and then there's the big blow up, either emotionally, sexually, financially, physically. And then there's the apology stage, and that's where most victims stay, is their spouse, the female or the male abuser, will apologize profusely and say, I'm sorry, I love you, never gonna do this again. And this is where the victims believe their lies. And the abuser really does want to stop, but in order for them to stop, they need help. They need therapy, they need counseling, they need to figure out why they're abusing. And if they don't work on themselves to figure it out, then the cycle is going to continue and continue and continue. According to Wikipedia, Domestic violence is a pattern or behavior which involves violence or abuse by one person against another in a domestic setting, such as marriage or cohabitation. It could be between same-sex couples, a boyfriend-girlfriend, a husband-wife, husband-husband, wife-wife. It's just one person who continually yells and belittles and physically harms their spouse. So I want everybody to watch out if you're out in a public setting, if you see something like this going on, really pay attention to red flags. And we'll cover red flags in the next couple of weeks. Keep yourself safe as well. So if you're in a domestic violence relationship and you're not really sure that that's what you're in, if you feel at all harmed emotionally, sexually, physically, you need to get out and you need to run. And you need to move on with your life so you don't stay, because the cycle will continue. Well, thank you for tuning into Tuesday Talks, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.